I don't think so. You can interrupt me if I'm answering the wrong question. But to the question of whether it's for publication or public education, absolutely. Missouri's Constitution mandates that public education is the priority of the state government. And I think we need to follow that. You know, Lynn talked about how our superintendents and our local districts find out their numbers on our school boards just a few months before they have to set their budget. I think there's some changes we could make to make things more predictable. Obviously, we should try to fund that as much as possible and actually make it a priority over other things. All schools should participate in the formula. Right now, we've got a bunch of schools in the state that get to opt out so that they can use a different formula that gets them more money. We don't treat all our schools equally, but the biggest problem that we've got is not so much in the way we fund education and the amount of funds going to education. We spent more public money on education in Missouri than we ever have this year. But it's the fact that we don't allow our local teachers and our local schools to make the decisions that are best for their students.
Mr. Preston, do you need the question repeated?
Please.
Okay. Do you support public education? And if so, will you work to fully fund the formula for public schools that is now underfunded by an estimate of $400 million? And how would you do that?
I definitely support education. There's no doubt about that. I think everybody does. If education is not fully funded, that's probably because we don't have the money. So we probably, unless we think we're going to have money soon, we need to think other ways to make our education work with the money we have. I have a piece of paper here from the Missouri State Teachers Association talking about the Missouri State Board of Education, who makes all of the decisions about education in Missouri. There's no teachers on that Board of Education. There's 8 politicians and no teachers, no current teachers, and they would like to have some teachers, principals, and whatever on the board making decisions for Missouri, and I agree with that 100%. I think there are some things that happen in our schools that really don't need to happen except the state wants it to happen.
This question will start with Matthew, and it comes from the audience. There is a nationwide movement to dissolve the office of sheriff. What is your stance on this movement and why?
I don't know, I've heard of that movement, but it sounds like a pretty bad idea. I'd elaborate more, but it's kind of a surprise. So, you know, our sheriffs are established in the Constitution as the supreme law enforcement in each individual county. And I think that's an important position that I'm glad it's an elected position and that they're held accountable to voters and the taxpayers. So I don't know what the reasoning behind people wanting to dissolve the body office of sheriff is, but I'd have to learn a lot to be won over to that position.
Mr. Preston, again, this is an audience question. There is a nationwide movement to dissolve the office of sheriff. What is your stance on this movement and why?
I haven't heard about it. I don't know, like Matthew, I don't know the reasoning behind it. I think we need law enforcement for sure. Had it been a few sheriffs maybe 40 or 50 years ago, I'd have said, yeah, get rid of them. But I think we have to have law enforcement. So I would be against it.
Well, like the others, I've never heard that, but too bad, Joey. I feel bad for you. But you know what? We've got a great system, I think, so I'm not sure why they want to change it. But we have the police department that takes care of mostly inside the city limits, and then we have the sheriff's department in all counties that take care outside the city limits. So I think we pretty well got it covered, and the counties that work the best are the ones that work the closest together. So I wouldn't be for that at all.
Yes, we're going to start with Bill. This is another audience question, and it goes to all three of you. Do you think we need to respect the Supreme Court's health care ruling?
No.
Audience is asking the question, not answering it. I will get nice work out.
I guess my answer would be simple, and I would just say absolutely not. It's a bad decision, in my opinion.
Lynn?
Okay, that's one reason why I want to run, is because I think as a pharmacist and master's in healthcare administration, 36 years in the healthcare business, I understand healthcare. That is one of the worst bills that we've got. That's probably the first priority in January, is to make sure that we take care of that bill and eliminate it. Then we've got to go back and make sure that we bring something back better to our state and to our country. There are some good things in that bill, but there's enough bad things that it just won't work, and it's not affordable. It's going to cost us actually more money. So I would say that we'll work on it come January, and we'll make sure that people, citizens in the state of Missouri and businesses in the state of Missouri will have a choice. They'll have a freedom of choice in health care, and we won't be mandated by the government.
I read most of the opinion that Chief Justice Roberts wrote, and basically what he said was, we're not going to overturn this law for you. If you want to see this overturned, you're going to have to elect people that'll do that. So in that sense, I say, yeah, we need to respect that decision and throw the bums out in November and send people who will put people back in control of their own private decisions rather than trying to take government control. So in that sense, yes. They're not going to change it. Obama's certainly not going to change it. The only way we can change it is to elect people who are actually going to be accountable, that are going to listen to you, and let you make decisions best for your family. And I think that's the way forward.
Gentlemen, we'll start with Mr. Morris. We have another audience question. Is the Constitution a living and breathing document, or is it an overblown document that really has no relevance in government?
No, I tell you, the Constitution is a living document, and it is extremely important. If it wasn't for the Founding Fathers, we wouldn't be here today. If it wasn't for the veterans that have won all the wars and fought the wars, we wouldn't be here today. Absolutely, the Constitution is extremely important, and it's the fiber and the core of what makes our country work. It's being challenged every day. It's being threatened every day. We're losing our rights. We're losing our states' rights, our individual rights and freedoms. But we've got to stand tall. We've got to stand together and make sure we protect our Constitution.
The Constitution is obviously the groundwork for all other law, and every other law that's passed should be based on authority given in that. Now, obviously, the 10th Amendment says that any power not given to the federal government is given to the states. So I think it's incredibly important for us to not just try to stick to constitutional matters of the federal government, but at the state level, elect people that are going to enact policy that keeps a conservative government here at home. It doesn't do any good to support states' rights and support a more limited federal government and cut back on the overgrowth that's happened over the past century if you're just going to let your state government try to run your life instead of the feds. So that's why I think we need to send consistent conservative people to the legislature here in Missouri and elect as governor to keep a conservative government both at the federal level and the state level.
I remember that one.
Okay.
I agree the Constitution is a living document, should be followed. That's what our country was founded on. And the document was used for years and years. It seems like it's kind of being eroded, and they're not following every part of it like they should. And kind of the Constitution they're trying to change a little bit. So we're in danger. We just need to keep vigilant and do our part. That's it.
All right, we're going to switch it up and ask each of you an individual question. And I've lost track. Who do we start? Mr. Block. Okay. Have you, Mr. Block, given any consideration to our prison systems